Hey guys, Steve here from Bloom Audio. You can't see me because I'm starting off this video with a demonstration of how effective the HE400se's stealth magnets are. As you can see, or can't see, just wearing the headphones has made me completely invisible. Might be a little distracting, so I'll take them off for now. Alright, so this is the latest revision of the HE400se, which we have here in the International Edition. We'll get to the differences there later. The HE400 in its various forms and revisions is one of HIFIMAN's longest running headphones. And this version of the HE400se comes with stealth magnets, which regrettably don't actually make you invisible. I was just using our very high visual effects budgets here to fake you out there. But they do sound really good for $149 headphones. So let's take a closer look and dig in. So we've got the headphones themselves. They've got a metal frame. The ear cups themselves are plastic. And then the ear pads are using, a synthetic leather, just like the headband here. With a velour on the inside. So what makes contact with your ears is actually the velour here. Now this headband is cushioned and adjustable. I still found it could be a little bit uncomfortable after long listening sessions. Even, despite the cushion, it doesn't have a lot of flex out that way. So your mileage may vary, probably depending on the size of your head. This is generally a really well-built and comfortable headphone for the price for a full-size large headphone like this. There's not too much in the box. You just get a couple, check out HIFIMAN kind of card and information about the stealth magnets if you want to read more about those. Now, the big difference here is with the International Edition that I mentioned earlier are the cables. So this is the original cable that came with the HE400se in its original release in China. And it's not the best cable. It actually looks kind of cool from a distance, but it's a little bit stiff. I found it to be a bit microphonic. When I was listening, as you can see, it's not the most easy to manage cable either. But thankfully for the US release, they gave us this cable, which if you have a Sundara or have ever used one of those, this cable is going to look really familiar. It's a lot like the Sundara cable. It's kind of a standard black rubber headphone cable. Internally, it's silver-plated copper. It also comes with the adapter for the 6.3 to 3.5 millimeter. So you can use this with either mobile or desktop things. And so this is actually a pretty solid cable here. It's got some good thickness for the price. I really like this cable. It's a big improvement for the International Edition. So the HE400se puts a high priority on detail and definition with its sound, but it balances it out pretty nicely. The bass is good. It's close to linear. There's just a little bit of depth missing in the sub bass. Like many HIFIMAN headphones and other planar magnetics, the bass is also heavily influenced by how much power you're giving it. While you get a slightly bass light sound out of most mobile sources or lower power sources, plugging it into something with a bit more juice is going to get you some decent slam and a fuller sound all around in the low end. The mids have some small recessions, but are generally strong and thick. The tuning tends to emphasize vocals, so whether it's Joan Jett or Josh Groban, most music is going to have a vocal-forward presentation. The overall feeling of clarity and transparency is also very strong, without any of the veiled feeling that is really common in this range of headphones. Now the treble can be slightly bright with a bit of top-end emphasis, And that really also gives the HE400se some of its strong sense of definition and sparkle up top. The soundstage and imaging are solid at the price, but overall the soundstage is on the smaller side for an open back headphone. And the imaging is good, but not as precise as some of the big boys in the HIFIMAN lineup. Speaking of which, really the HE400se has a lot of characteristics in common with the other HIFIMAN headphones. And I think you kind of see a clear path of evolution in terms of the technical capabilities and everything else that sort of runs from the HE400 through the Sundara, Nanda, Aria, on up to the Susvara. The HIFIMAN Sundara is one of our most popular headphones, and for good reason. But at half the price, how does the HE400se compare? So in terms of tuning, the two are pretty close, with just a few key differences. I think the Sundara feels more balanced overall, where the HE400se just leans a tiny bit towards a more bright, analytical type of tuning. Also, where both can be used from anything from a phone to a tablet to a, Chord Hugo TT2, the Sundara feels like it has a little bit more room to grow when you pair it with these higher end desktop amps or higher end, even mobile ones, where you're getting a little bit more performance out of the Sundara as you scale up, where the HE400se lags a little bit behind there. And again, in terms of the technical details, things like the soundstage and the imaging, the Sundara definitely has a wider soundstage and more precise imaging, but I do hear a really strong sense of definition in certain passages with the HE400se that I don't necessarily hear that same level of definition in the Sundara, or always the same sense of air. So where, the Sundara definitely outperforms the HE400se, it's not always an open and shut case, and this latest revision of the HE400se can definitely give the Sundara a run for its money in a couple places where you might not expect that from a headphone that's half the price. So while it can't actually turn you invisible with its stealth magnets, the HE400se's detail, clarity, and definition at this price point seems like a small miracle on its own, maybe not quite on the level of invisibility. But it very clearly shares a lot of characteristics with the rest of HIFIMAN's lineup, just scaled down a bit, but maybe not scaled down as much as you might expect. I think the HE400se is definitely punching above its weight class, and it's a strong buy for anybody who wants a taste of that HIFIMAN style and sound. But just be careful, you might get hooked and end up buying a Susvara before you know it. Thanks for watching. You can check out the HE400se along with the rest of HIFIMAN's lineup at bloomaudio.com, and we'll be back soon with more hi-fi personal audio content.